Hello, hello, everybody. We have Women Speak Florida here, and I guess you guys can just, sorry, my brain just like suddenly flipped. Anyway, so we have V, and we have Muffins, and we have Shelby, and please take it away, ladies.
All right. Hello, Ocala. We're hoping for a bigger crowd today, but this is fun. We are representatives from Women Speak Florida, a pro-women's and children's rights organization. We travel around Florida to talk about how transgender ideology violates the rights of women, children, and parents. If you have women in your life that you care for, or if you have children in your life that you care for, I strongly urge you to consider listening to what we have to say today. We only have 3 speakers today, but if anyone feels like they have something they'd like to add, I encourage anyone to come up and speak. Our first speaker today is Muffins from St. Augustine. Hello, my name is Muffins. I'm from St. Augustine, Florida. Just here to give a few facts and some information on why exactly accepting any male into women's spaces is harmful to women and girls. The trans movement once stated terms like man and woman was related to gender and male and female was related to biological sex. There are males now denying biological sex and stating that they are female. By their feelings, males like Montana State Rep Zachary Roush, who goes by the name Zoe, claims to be a female, knowing damn well he is a man who is engaged to another man named Anthony Freed, who goes by the name of Aaron. 2 gay males who claim to be lesbians by their own male self-identity, completely disregarding the fact that the term lesbian is meant to describe the same sex attraction between females. How homophobic of these 2 gay males and the trans community, especially when they use terms like girl dick and transbian. Being upset with women who claim that cis is a slur is just more push from the trans community to validate the use of the word trans. This helps them to invalidate what it actually means to be a woman and why no male can be any subset of woman. They insult us by calling us cis women as if we are some kind of subset in our own sex class. If a movement allows men to identify as women by the way of his feelings and perspective, but women are not allowed to define womanhood by our biological reality, then it 100% is a men's rights movement and does not protect or advocate for the safety of women and girls. 91% of rape victims are female, and 99% of rape crimes are committed by males. So if all it takes is for one male to proclaim he is a woman in order to gain access to women's rape centers, shelters, bathrooms, changing rooms, and prisons, how is this protecting women and girls? We ask to exclude all males from all women's spaces because of these high rates of male violence and sexual crimes. We have no way of knowing which males are dangerous and which aren't. I'm asking anyone who really cares about the safety and dignity of women and girls to please reach out to their state reps explaining the harms of self-ID and why legislation needs to be brought forward banning all forms of self-ID. Supporting self-ID and accommodating even one male into women's only spaces, language, and sports starts an out-of-control spiral of more male privilege over women and what it uniquely means to be a woman. Thank you. Thank you. That was a great speech.
Sorry, I'm creating things while I'm doing this. And now we have Shelby. Shelby on the mic.
I'm taking Shelby.
It's not easy to get in front of people.
I
In front of a camera and a live audience.
You got the memo?
Unpopular truth.
Love it,
We're out
Shelby.
here because we truly believe that rejecting this ideology is a societal boundary that must be upheld by any means necessary. This ideology has lifelong Democrat feminists voting red for the first time in their lives because this issue is so important to them, to the point that they feel no choice but to be a single issue voter. And they are constantly asked, why does it matter so much to you? How does it affect you? Why can't you just let people be? And before I answer that, I want to point something out. This is not an ideology solely being pushed by teenagers online. This is an ideology that is pushed by the United Nations in 193 countries across the world. It's being pushed by almost every medical institution, by the psychiatric industry. Even the CIA has tweeted out transgender ideology propaganda. The profits to be gained from it are huge. It's not just a silly little phase for kids. So why is it important to us? Because transgender ideology is not an ideology about letting people be. It is an ideology that forces the participation of everyone. It is an ideology that requires external validation. We live under the rule of law in this society. In order for laws to be useful and function properly, they need to be worded with specific, clearly defined language so that these laws can actually protect the people they are written specifically to protect. For example, there are discrimination laws in place to prevent harassment against women. But what happens when anyone is a woman if they simply say so? Many states are adapting self-ID gender identity laws and incorporating that into their discrimination laws. Self-ID gender identity means you are whatever you say you are, no effort required. You don't have to take wrong sex hormones or get surgeries or make any attempt to look like the opposite sex at all. As the trans community would say, they don't owe you transness. So what happens when any man can say he's a woman under the law? What happens when women's rights become anybody's rights? The possibilities are endless and truly terrifying. And we are already seeing them every day. Now in every state besides Florida and many countries in the world, a man can walk into a women's restroom and do all kinds of things, including put up hidden cameras, which they've already been caught doing. Men pretending to be women have already been caught doing this. Trans rights will argue that creeps will always be creeps no matter what, but that ignores the overall point. When bathroom laws exist, women have the legal right to raise a red flag the moment she sees a man enter a woman's space. The situation could be addressed before the man has a chance to do anything. But under self-ID gender identity laws, a woman stopping a man from entering a woman's room actually has a discrimination case against her. Trans rights activists love to say nobody would ever pretend to be the opposite sex just to be a creep and invalidate or invade other spaces. They are
Except they
half
do it all
right.
the time.
Women would never identify as a man to invade their spaces and prey on them. But there are many porn-sick, autogynephilic men willing to identify as women to invade their spaces and prey on them. And we have hundreds of examples. Thank you. I was actually about to pull that up. I have this lovely poster here with the faces of 21 of these autogynephilic men that are currently or previously resided in women's prisons. Most of these men on here are in prison for the crimes of murder, rape, pedophilia, or a mix of the three. Their crimes do not bar them from being able to enter a women's prison, as that would be discriminatory under self-ID gender identity laws. All right, I'm going to read a couple of these off. We got, hang on, okay. We got Rodney Shiloh Heavenly Quinn James. This man is from Sacramento, California. He was convicted of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and rape in 1991. In 2009, he began living as a woman while he was in prison. And in 2017, he was the first U.S. inmate to receive U.S. taxpayer-funded gender reassignment surgery. He now resides in a California Chowchilla Women's Prison in California is where he's at now. Okay, so then we got Richard Sherry Lasher Mashbrook. In 1991, he tortured via electrocution, raped, and sodomized a woman in her own apartment, stole all her money and all of her valuables. In 2005, when he was in a Texas men's prison for this crime, he successfully cut off his own penis. He was then sent to the California Medical Facility for care in 2008. And then he was transferred again to the Chowchilla Women's Prison.
He's stable.
Bashir and Quinn, as I said, they're held in women's prisons in California. There is a woman who was previously incarcerated with these men. Her name is Amy Ichikawa, and she runs an organization called Woman to Woman. This is an organization dedicated to helping women in these prisons who feel like they have no voice in society otherwise. Some of these women are doing 10, 20, or 30 years locked in a cage with male rapists. Some of these women are doing life with them. And these women have some truly horrific stories. You can look them up on Woman to Woman if you'd like. When describing these men, I use the word autogynephilic. Autogynephilia is a paraphilia, otherwise known as a sexual fetish. An autogynephile is a man who is aroused by himself in the image of a woman. Autogynephiles are heterosexual, which is why they are a threat in women's spaces. Autogynephilia has been around for a long time, but rates are growing as porn consumption grows and becomes more and more deviant. Besides prisons, these men can and have invaded women's rape shelters, locker rooms, caretaker positions for the disabled and the elderly, and lesbian communities. The implications of a straight, porn-addicted, sexually deviant man infiltrating any of these spaces should rightly horrify anyone. This is not to say every man who pretends to be a woman is an autogynephile. Some are just gay, which makes transgenderism a weird form of gay conversion therapy, which still should not be found acceptable. The country of Iran has some of the highest rates of sex reassignment surgeries in the world for this reason. Iran is not known to be a shining beacon of progress. The same goes for women who pretend to be men. Most of them are just gay or bisexual, and they were probably tomboys. Another factor that goes into it is autism. Most people who identify as transgender, either male or female, would all fall somewhere on the autism spectrum if they were evaluated. Autistic people are especially vulnerable because of the traits that often make up autism, such as hyperfixation, extreme dislike of change, like when they go through puberty, extreme black and white thinking, which contributes to thinking in stereotypes. If they like feminine stuff, they think they're a girl. If they like masculine, they think they're a boy. A sense of social exclusion is something autistic people feel a lot, and they find community when they decide they're part of the trans community. Extreme experimental medicalization on autistic and gay people should again rightly horrify anybody. It is heinous at any age, but most especially when that person is a child. And when I say child, I do not mean in legal terms. I mean in developmental terms. Our brains are not finished developing until we are 25 years old. So I'm going to address the medicalization of children quickly, and I want to acknowledge the intersex argument, and I'm going to wrap up. There's a lot that can be said about the medicalization of children, but I'm just going to run through the facts that every parent should be aware of. Puberty blockers are not reversible. You cannot magically make up the time a body is supposed to go through puberty. If a child is on puberty blockers from the ages of 10 to 16, and that is it, their time for puberty is over, they do not get it back. Their sexual organs are developmentally stuck where they were when they started puberty blockers. Any child given puberty blockers at the recommended stage of puberty, Tanner stage 2, which is about 10 years old, that continues on to wrong sex hormones a few years later, will never experience sexual pleasure as an adult. This will impact their ability to bond with a partner forever. 98% of kids who start puberty blockers go on to start wrong sex hormones, which means this will happen to 98% of these children. These kids will also be sterile as adults. Lupron is the most common puberty blocker prescribed today, which was historically used to chemically castrate high-risk sexual predators. There is a famous young individual who lives right here in Florida known as Jazz Jennings. His mother transitioned him as a child as she noticed he was feminine and she suspected he would grow up to be gay. Jazz had his own television show where he transitioned, and his transition was documented for the whole world to see. When it was time for his bottom surgery, they, invert the bottom, there was not enough tissue there to correctly do the surgery because Jazz's development had been so stunted by puberty blockers. We stand for women and girls' rights, not male. We're open to respectful discussion if you want to talk about it.
Hell yeah.
Like I said, if you have something that you think you know that we don't, we're happy to talk about it.
Oh, that's Shelby. Love that, Shelby.
Yeah, man.
All right. Anyway, despite
In
the
your
horror of
face.
this transition, some guy just flicked me off because I told him that this poor young man now has this developmentally stuck as a child. I'm not sure how that makes me a bad person, but okay. Anyways, despite the horrors of his transition being available for all to see, he still has many supporters. Thankfully, there are now laws in Florida to prevent this from being done to more children, but most states do not have these laws. There are even judges here in Florida trying to get rid of the law, declaring it unconstitutional. Some states, like California and Maine, are trying to become sanctuary states where your child could run away and transition without your consent. This is a serious issue for children and the upcoming generation. We cannot ignore it. Lastly, I just want to clarify about intersex or DSD disorders. Everyone with a DSD disorder is very much still male or female. It is offensive and inaccurate to imply otherwise. In 99% of people, women have XX chromosomes and men have Y. What separates males and females 100% of the time is which gamete their reproductive system is organized to create. Even if the reproductive system is only partially developed, isn't functional, or removed. Women create large gametes, men create small. There is no third option, no medium gamete. There has never in history been a case of true hermaphroditism where a human created both large and small gametes. DSD disorders affect the development of secondary sex characteristics. Secondary. These characteristics do not determine your sex, although when they develop atypically, it can make it harder to determine the true sex. But that's it. It's just harder to tell. A man growing breasts because of his DSD disorder does not make him a woman. It makes him a man with a DSD disorder. Not to mention, most people who identify as trans do not have a DSD disorder, and many people with DSD disorders have no interest in being political pawns for a regressive ideology. All right, thank you guys. Up next, we have our girl VF with the final speech.
Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you, Shelby.
Here I
And
am.
now you have
First,
to-
I'd like to show off my new turf vest. Thank you.
Let's see it be. We got turf.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Always represented.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go.
She's at the stand up. The stand
Anyway.
back.
Back to my speech. I can never warn lesbians enough about the harms and lesbophobia of genderism. It seems more and more they are rushing towards the trend of self-erasure, endless lies, medical complications, and ultimately social isolation. Ironically enough, they all go into this with the fantasies of becoming a real boy, or rather some sort of male ideal, be it a twink to Chad to having a portion of a penis. Though they all claim they simply want to be happy living their authentic male impersonator versions of themselves, even though none of them will ever become these men. But they just want to stand and pee and feel the wind across their bare chest or whatever silly thing they got in their mind that magically will fix everything and proves that they will be seen as men, something they really want to be, not subhuman, not sex objects, not all those horrible things they associate with being women. And womanhood is limited to, which they ultimately do not want to set themselves as. Many times, these are women or victims of sexual abuse, still blaming their female bodies rather than the male abusers. There's a very long list of why women and girls are falling for this trans scam to liberate themselves from the concept of womanhood. Lesbians in particular have been preyed upon by promoting the cotton ceiling to justify the rape of us by porn sick trans cell men of the cult, and by the forced teaming of the L and the T, even by our own youth groups pushing the idea that homosexuality doesn't exist in any woman who doesn't fit the stereotype of women must therefore be non-women, especially if they're attracted to women. That would make them men, or rather, non-men attracted to non-men. See, those attracted to women, not open to dating transbians, would have to ultimately be heterosexual trans men. Trans, of course, is sold as a greater idea using the cutesy terms like top and bottom surgeries to mask the painful realities of female mutilation that is actually happening. The fine print in the conformed set uses cartoons to depersonalize the risks that are taken when they are told about this Ursula contract that they can sign, offering them an impossible exchange for legal immunity from lawsuits and accountability for placing these women on steroids. Doctors know will take a toll on their health, and ultimately over time, the female liver will not metabolize. I can list the many needless complications these women take and T will face.
Yes. Yes.
And many of them
Testosterone
will lead them
ruins.
to endless surgeries, where women end up spending millions of taxpayer money, insurance money, but that's a whole different issue. No, I'm directly talking about those lesbians who by all means had a level of personal success, professionally, romantically, and otherwise seemed to have it all going on, but then decided to trade it all in for the promise of manhood they will never achieve, no matter how much they lied to themselves that they were always men. Everyone now sees them as men and that they were never happier than before the trans joy of manhood, which is so lonely because men are lonely, supposedly. Mind you, nobody other than strangers who are not paying attention to them will never see them as men. Only women who will never experience the privilege of manhood and think that passing is actually a thing, when it's actually erasure. No, it's a very lonely experience to be a woman living this lie. And to miss their once thriving personal connections to other women romantically that they no longer attract since they mutilated themselves from their own dating pools and will never find heterosexual women, the partners that they're looking to seek. No, they won't see that. Men will be seen as creepy and think that that's their experience. But this is not the normal experience of men. This is the experience of women who have othered themselves from womanhood and now are seen as others to others who even pay attention to them. I know a lesbian response. This is a lesbian response to my own natural reaction, seeing these tragic examples of self-hating and self-harming women. No matter how friendly and no matter sorry I feel for them, I can't help it, but want to avoid them because of their own misogyny and homophobia. It's brutal to have be manifested in these scars. They pride themselves in showing off, and in narcissism behavior they display trying to cosplay manhood to mask the reality that these lost women trapped inside the trans act are really just putting on. It's almost unbearable to interact with these women who have prioritized their own pronoun problems over the well-being of safety of women and girls, and yet they know they are victims to the cult. They have convinced them that cutting their own womanhood, their own breast off, sewing off an arm flesh dildo could free them from the very system of oppression that has them trapped inside, detached from their own reality. They might gain fame and gain some influence to recruit other women into this trend, but the emptiness of knowing the endless lies complications will always deep down be with them. No matter how much facial hair they grow, muscles they might build, or whatever fake peen they might have installed, reality is no woman is opening up their legs to that, and there is some that have woke partners that might lie and say it's the greatest thing ever, but sexually, there's no way they feel anything out of that. Truth is, even famous, popular lesbians like Ellen Page went from being married to a Hollywood celebrity and secret romances that she brags about to now talking about her hangouts with her dog, who is now the closest to real companionship she'll probably ever get. This is what happens to women who turn out. Even rich, famous men like Dylan who complain that they just can't get a date or find someone to love them. Truth is, it's near impossible when clearly they don't even love themselves. They spend their time pretending to be what they will never become. Thank you very much.
Thank you, B. All right, Women Speak Florida. Anybody
Yeah,
else?
see
wanna-
if the turf dog has anything she'd like to say.
Trans women are men.
Oh my
I
God! How
would
cute
love
is
to
that
say,
puppy?
please write here
Aw.
about Florida representatives and ask that we pass legislation, at least introduce legislation to ban all forms of self-ID.
Puppy.
And also, trans women are men, just like hot dogs are real dogs. Here's Shelby. I just wanted to close out with some common sense statements. Trans women are men. Men don't belong in women's spaces.
Thank you,
No
Shelby.
child is born in the wrong body. Everyone is perfect how they are. Nobody needs to change themselves because of who they love or what they like to wear. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelby.
Woo!
Awesome. All right, everybody. So that was
You,
Speak
you
Florida.
know I'm gonna get my dash out one of those shirts, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know he needs one
Oh
of
my
those
goodness.
shirts.
Oh, I love Shelby. That woman gives me goosebumps. I there's something about she just does gives me goosebumps. Okay,
Oh,
hold on.
shit.
I got these ladies are
I think that's brilliant too. Like you can actually see, you don't have to have huge big turf packs to make a speaker's event work. You know,
that's true.
like
Yeah. Yep.
you know it's so good.
Yeah, it's just even 3 ladies, they can bring it home, you know? They can make some
Yeah,
noise.
and that's a good thing about a smaller event too. There's a smaller event is you don't have to cut what you want to say down.
Right.
If you're the type of person who likes to bring some sort of written, you know, I
Mhm.
don't. I'm not very good at the staying on staying on
topic
scripts,
and
but
shit.
some people are. They're very good at staying on script. So
Yep.
you know, when you do a smaller event like that, you get that time to really express what you want to be able to say.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I would like, you know, I need to experience that a little bit more because the one time I've spoken, it was so unplanned and I had thrown up and it was just like a huge anxiety thing. And I have tried, like, I've thought, like, how do I do this by myself, you know, just to like get it? Because I just really want to scream at people. I want people to I want a speaker's corner in the middle of my street, basically, you know,
Yeah.
so I've been considering like creating a few signs and just standing in the middle of an island the busy street in downtown where I live, and just stand there in the middle of the street with my sign and just be
Yeah.
that lady who always is there on every Thursday. Like it's like if I do it every Thursday, it's like even by myself, I might be able to just make a little bit of noise, you know, but to your point, yeah, you know, a smaller group allows us to elaborate a little bit more and to take, you know, have a little bit more of a long-winded, thoughtful speech or whatever you might want to say. Um, I don't
Yeah.
think, yeah. I mean, it gives you just a little bit more time to really, because it's a little more personal instead of having like 20 women or 10 women to try and just do like really quick little things. I don't know. It depends. But you're right. Yeah, just the three
Some
of us.
yeah, some experienced speakers, and I do not count myself in one of them,
Mhm.
can take what they've got and smash and condense that down
Yeah.
on the fly to
Yeah.
do a Kelly J. Keane type event,
Oh
which I
gosh.
just
I
think
mean, I keep
that's
telling Kelly J, I'm like, for the party of women, like, please do a charm school. I will sign up. Like, please do a charm school so that I can figure out how to be like her, you know, like she's so quick and witty and cute and funny, and she says
yeah,
exactly what needs to be said in the most just in your face succinct ways, you know. But you know, that's, you know, what Shelby has picked up too, you know. She just reminded us very quickly and succinctly, trans women are men, you can't change sex, no woman has a penis, you know, and just the quick and simple stuff that is very impactful. I'm kind of rambling, but
no, but it's true. And when I was in Melbourne, I noticed that how great some women can they're so articulate and they can take a bigger
Yeah.
formatted thing that they're focused on and condense that right down. It's Amy Suma over there?
Yeah.
She's brilliant at that.
Yep.
You know, you can see it. I can see her brain working in real time.
Oh,
when
yeah.
This is what I've got to say, but I've
She's
got
got
X amount.
so much to
And
say, and she's
she
so
can go bang.
articulate.
Yeah, she can just crop those bits out.
Same with Kay
It-
Yang. Same with
Yeah,
Kay
yeah.
Yang. You know, stopfemaleerasure.com, I believe. I'm so bad at planning, promoting other amazing women because like it is Stop Female Erasure. I used
Yes.
some of Kay Yang's stuff for a flyer that I made for Women Speak Florida last time. Stopfemaleerasure.com. Yes, it is stopfemaleerasure.com. And
So I'm just going to explain this to the people over on my channel. Is we're doing a tricky little techie thing that we've never done before here today. Hey, so we're simulcasting while I'm on your channel.
yes,
And we're streaming that on my channel as well, which is something I just think we should pat ourselves on the back for, because I think this is pretty.
oh, you've definitely let me. I should go to your channel and then we
Yeah,
can do
and then you'll be able to,
a meta.
yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me do that.
Like
Oh,
it's I'm pretty impressed.
yeah, because it's. I mean, we were sitting here like I've never done this before. Let's see how this works. Okay, let me go to
But
you.
it's good. Like at my end, I've got 2 devices up. That's how I'm
Yeah.
able to do it. So
Oh, I see us.
I think it's
see
pretty
us.
clever.
That's amazing. I love it. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's we've got some meta coverage here. We're covering the coverage of the coverage.
So literally, we've worked out a little simulcast.
Yeah,
between
that's
the
amazing.
channels. I think it's awesome. I think.
So you're gonna have to show me how to do that so that I can do that from my channel at some point.
Yeah, wait a minute. Look, I can even get real techie because I can take out my little iPad now and I'll take a photo of this and I'll send it later.
Yep. Okay.
So you can all see me in real time. Take a photo of my stuff and I'll send it over later. I just think this is I think it's really invaluable because it doesn't matter where in the world we are, we can always sort of hook up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
Yep. Support.
We can share each other's events and mirror different things, and I just think that's
as much exposure from all the avenues as possible. Yep. All resources possible.
So it's just that theory: if you can't be the light, mirroring the light.
Exactly.
Say that again
now.
Pardon?
Say that again.
Sometimes you can't be the light. You don't have it in you, you know, but you can mirror the light.
Yeah.
So,
that's
you know,
a good point. That's a good point when you're feeling a little under motivated and under.
Well, I'm really lucky because I have used guys I've got lovely turban around the world. So you know, I'm not alone in this fight, even on days that I feel alone on this fight.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's really important. Yeah. Having sister cities and tag team partners is, I think, really, really important.
It is.
You know, like when you can just tag people in. I do find this is really weird because I am looking here and there. But yeah, I think there's a lovely little YouTube channel that's popped up. It's called Women's Voice, I think, here in Australia. Okay. And they don't put a voice or a face or anything to them. They just snip out bits and repost them. Okay. And I find that to be really a great little YouTube channel, really invaluable YouTube channel.
Then you don't have to. Because then you don't have to. No. Yeah, because what was I? Oh gosh, because then you don't have to sit there and try and present. And I'm terrible at completely organizing everything. Now. I'm just really bad at organizing and stuff, and like keeping my stuff in a good compartment so I can just roll with it, and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
talk about what I want to talk about. I get off into the weeds so easily because it's just the way my brain constantly seems to work. And so yeah, I was thinking like maybe that's what I would be switching to myself, is doing less talking and stuff like that, and more just like clips and what other people, especially what other women have put together that says the message that I want to say and says it better than I'll say it,
Yeah.
and show some of the evidence of what's happening around the world, and just let people see this is what's happening. I don't need to give you my opinion. Um, but but yeah, anyway. And V is calling me. She's probably gonna check on me. She's like,
She
what's going
did. She just checked on me too. So
on? Okay.
maybe we say goodbye.
Yeah, we'll say goodbye. Thank you everybody for signing in and watching Women Speak Florida. And we're looking forward to the next one, trying to ramp up. And don't forget we have Turf Pride July, that V is working on for, and she has some big names coming. It's going to be amazing. Oh my
It's going to
gosh.
be amazing, and
It's going to be
we're
amazing.
planning on doing something here as well. So
Mhm. Yep.
there is ideas and thoughts being thrown around. So
Yep. And yeah, and
hopefully,
Jade even said that she'd fly out to California and do a speakers corner, a let women speak event, with me. Just, because it would be great to have a familiar voice next to me. So she said that she'd
God,
do that.
yes. How cool would that be? I think no matter how you turf, you got to turf something.
Yeah.
In July, and
Yes.
it's the weekend of the 23rd, I believe. So,
Yep.
my theory is any time in that weekend will be
Mhm.
good if we
Yeah.
can get sort of like a Mexican wave of turfness going around the world would be really
That would
fantastic.
that would be great. That would be, because it's like what Kelly J helped kind of start, It's like she went around the world and she did little stops, and New Zealand helped wake people up a little bit more, and we have to continue. We have to continue and make and do our own little pop-up, protests and rallies, and just even little things, even just
Yeah,
like Twam sign, it's one person who sits around with a trans women or men sign all the time at the same
yeah,
place. And anything that you can do, just talk to people as much as
yeah.
possible.
It's
Raise
tag team
awareness.
turfing, right? It's tag team turfing. You know,
Mhm.
we tag NX in, so it'd be so great to see just starting, say, from Australia, New Zealand, just one event, one event, one event, one event, one event,
Mhm.
one event.
Oh,
Like
yep.
spoil
Yep.
for choice. That's what we want. Spoil for
Exactly.
choice. All
Exactly.
right, lovely.
All right,
All right.
lovelies. Okay. Turvin, peace out. See you next time. Thank you again for joining us.